Good morning, everybody. How's everyone doing today? I see Lenny in here, Kendi, Jess, Wendy, Mergen, good morning, Meg, Nara, I see you. What else do we have? I think I saw Jen and Lisa earlier. There they are. Ooh, it's National Margarita Day. I had no idea. Thank you for Miami. Thank you very much for resubbing with Prime. Appreciate that. Unicorn Cindy with the resub. Thank you. 42 months. That's awesome. Thank you. Got Jen cheering with 1,000 bits. Well, who is this? Kev Sue 38. Thank you very much for resubbing with Prime. And I'll remind everyone once the show actually starts, but we are not asking for gifted subs at the moment, but if you want to sub yourself, sub with Prime, gift some bits, all of that is welcome. Damn, Hype Train level 3 already. I wonder if our guest co-host will be able to take a shot if we hit the Hype Train. Although I think if we hit one, it'll happen before they join us. We'll see. Mergen, the countdown tinkering is probably a month away. There are some other things I've got to tinker with and fix first. I actually might stream this weekend and play around with some things because I'd like to play around
10,
with... Oh, you know what? I'll wait.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
There we go. It should be working now. Does everyone have audio? Okay, cool. Perfect. I guess the button just didn't take. Stupid Stream Deck. All right, so Carla Marie is in Puerto Rico today, so we do have a guest co-host that will be joining us in, what time is it? In about 9 minutes, 10 minutes, if everything works. So what we're going to do, just like we did when we had our guest a couple weeks ago, or last week, is I'll take a quick break. It shouldn't take as long as it did the last time, but I'll take a quick break, make sure everything's working, and join with the guest. So it looks like we're through Hype Train level 3. Thank you very much for that. And who knows, maybe our guest will want to take a shot from wherever they are. But there are some things I want to get to today. No gifted subs. So we're working on changing the stream a little bit. One of the things we might do, or we're going to try at least in March, and who knows, if we don't like it, we'll go back to the old way, is running ads on the stream, which means as partners, we have a different revenue split with Twitch. So we're trying to see if that's actually beneficial for us, if it makes financial sense. If not, like I said, we'll just go back to the original way. And then during the countdown, I think it was Mergen that was asking when all of my tinkering will make it to the countdown screen. And that is probably 3 weeks to a month away, only because we have to tinker with other things first to get there. But I might actually stream over the weekend. I don't know what I'll stream exactly, but it'll just be to test out some things, because there are so many features that I want to add to Twitch, but some of them you have to be live to really learn how to use them. So maybe I'll just do kind of a real casual stream over the weekend, and we'll hang out. Maybe I'll do it while the Seton Hall... Actually, no, I should not do it while the Seton Hall game is on, because you're not going to want to see that version of me, because it's not pretty. Dana on Long Island, thank you very much for the 100 bits. I see 300 from Stone. What else did we have here? Stone also resubbed at tier 2, which you don't have to do, because there's really, other than a couple extra emotes, there's not a lot that Twitch kind of gives you for tier 2 and tier 3, but I appreciate it. I do think we get a better split with tier 2, but I think that might be old. Melissa, thank you very much for the resub. Appreciate that. And I think I got everybody else. So we are in Hype Train level 4. Like I said, we'll see if we can get through level 5. On the list today, if you hit the lotto, would you keep working? Now, there's a very specific reason we're going to talk about that. There isn't, I don't think in America, at least, there's not a big lottery up for grabs. 4 bachelor parties in 8 months. I just knocked out one of them, but as I was knocking out that bachelor party, I got invited to my 4th of the year, so we'll talk about that. And don't forget, Carnival of Cocktails is on the way. It is one of, if not the greatest event in the Seattle area. It is the culmination of Seattle Cocktail Week. You get to walk around, sample a bunch of different spirits from a bunch of different manufacturers, from here locally in Seattle to international to a little bit of everything. It is an incredible event. If you are in the Seattle area, we'd love to hang out with you. We also will be doing live 2-second tunes. So all of that info, if you know what, if you want the info and you want the link to our discount code, just email, or not email me, don't do that. DM me on Instagram, Worst Anthony. I'll send it over to you. Let's see, Gabby from Sarasota, thank you very much for the sub with Prime. Monica, thank you very much for subbing with Prime as well. And Fred the Mailman is deadlifting as we speak, and I inspired him to post his failed deadlift. So that's something that happened if you missed the show on Tuesday. I failed trying to deadlift 405 pounds the night before when I was with my cousins. The thing I didn't add when we were talking about this, I don't think I did at least, was my cousin Julian, who was the one that was pushing me to try to deadlift, which my goal, which was 405 pounds. I was doing 350 relatively easy, so he said, why not go for it? I did. I fail, and Julian managed to bang out 5 or 6 reps of 405 pounds and made it look easy. It's not like he was struggling with those 5 or 6 reps of deadlifting 405 pounds. He made it look easy. It was like he was just picking up the groceries from the ground. That was it. Becky said, my 19-year-old son failed to deadlift at 540 pounds at his meet, but he got to 507. That's crazy. I don't even know if I was deadlifting at 19 years old. I think it's one of the things they added to my track program when I was at Seton Hall, and I just decided not to deadlift. But who knows? Maybe if I started back then, I'd be deadlifting 405 at this point. Oh, and Becky just added in the chat that her son, who's 19 and deadlifted 507 pounds, weighs 149 pounds. That's crazy. Good for him. Also, we got through Hype Train level 3, did not make it to the end of 4, but thank you to everyone who supported. Appreciate that. And let me check real quick before our guest arrives. Okay. Perfect. So they're going to join around 8:20 West Coast time, whatever that is, where you are. What was that? 11. I'll tell you what, traveling back and forth from Seattle to New Jersey, driving up to upstate New York, back down and over, I think it all caught up to me yesterday. I did not get out of bed. I mean, I drove Carla Marie to the airport super early, but then I did not get out of bed until close to noon with everything. And obviously, going to a bachelor party will wear you down a little bit too. But because it was a holiday weekend, all of the flights were super expensive. So I found a decent flight for like $400 to get back to Newark Airport, a round trip back to Seattle, and it was on United. And I don't know how the front of the plane is on United, but the back of that plane, it's like a sardine can. Just extending my elbows to like bring the tray table down was a legit like task without knocking into everyone around me. I mean, it is a very, very tight squeeze, and I don't know how people work on planes. Maybe if I had like an iPad or something, it would have been easier, or some sort of tablet, because getting a regular size laptop open in front of me and actually typing, I don't know how people do it. I mean, I felt like I had T-Rex arms. I was trying to do this for a little bit to get some of the stuff for the podcast done. And that lasted about, 5 minutes until I just gave up and said, there's no work happening on this flight at all. And I mean, I guess if you're smaller than I am, it might be easier. But yeah, according to Jen and Sunali, United does pack you in there nice and snug. Normally I fly Alaska if I can. But for whatever reason, the Alaska flights have just been so much more expensive than United. And I know that United, their hub is Newark, so there will normally be cheaper flights into and out of Newark on United. But generally, even if it's within like $100, I take Alaska, mainly because I do have status with that airline in terms of like the points that I've spent or accrued. And it's a nicer plane in my opinion. But man, it was rough. What do we have here? Yeah, flights are stupid expensive these days, Angela. Lenny said his muscles were too big for economy. I don't know if anyone anymore is the right size for economy. And this is where I do think, listen, I'm not like a fan of government regulation in everything that we do, but I feel like there should be some sort of standard across the board with all of these airlines. And I don't know if it's the government coming in and saying, hey, you can't pack people in the way you're packing them in. But there's got to be some sort of standardization, right? It's got to make sense at some point where an adult doesn't feel like they're about to be stuffed into a coffin getting onto a flight. Although coffins probably have way more space than those United flights. Yeah, and then overselling flights becomes an issue as well. Although, I do think, what's his name? Mayor Pete? He's the transportation secretary now. I feel like he has been kind of forcing airlines to treat their customers better. I know a lot of the cancellation stuff that we now have is because of him and whatever his team. Do you call it an administration? I don't know. But yeah, I mean, that's the place that I think the government should be like regulating. I don't know where else we should like remove them from, but maybe making sure that we have comfortable flights. Is the transportation secretary a cabinet member? That's a great question. I'm going to look that up. Who makes up the president's cabinet? 15 executive departments. All right. Agriculture, commerce, defense, education, energy, health and human services, homeland security, housing and urban development, interior, labor, state transportation. There it is. So he is part of the cabinet. It's a pretty big team. But what is the cabinet members team called? Right? Because Mayor Pete would be part of the Biden administration, But like, what's his little sub team called? His little guys that do their thing. I don't know. The Goon Squad. Oh, where'd my screen go? There it is. But all in all, I mean, considering the planes that were falling out of the sky earlier in the year, I made it. Everything's all right. And now I am back in Seattle. And here's the craziest thing. This is probably from the time I left. So I left on Thursday. To the time I got back, I only worked out one day. I worked out with my cousins. And it wasn't the normal type of workout that I would do myself. It was more laid back because it was really to hang out with my cousins. It was kind of just like meatheads hanging out together. I don't know if it was the amount of days I took off. I don't know if it was the drinking I did at the bachelor party, the eating I did throughout the whole weekend, the flights, the lack of sleep. Man, my workout kicked my ass yesterday. I don't know if I've felt that like weak and exhausted in a long, long time. It was kind of crazy, but it also felt good. It felt good to know that I was working out whatever toxins I had in my body, whatever lethargic things were going on. Let me check with, let's see. All good. Just let me know when you're ready. That's our special guest today, who you may or may not know. Jen said, did you get any snow up in the Catskills? We did, actually. We got really lucky. It wasn't a ton of snow. But overnight, from Friday to Saturday, it snowed a little bit. And then when we were on the mountain, they had their snow guns going. We went to Hunter Mountain. And it also snowed on and off throughout the day. Again, nothing crazy, but just enough where it wasn't patches of ice everywhere, which is normally what you get when you ski on the East Coast. And going to Hunter, I hadn't been there in 8 years. That was like my home mountain growing up. That's where I would go to. I'd go up by myself pretty often from my parents' house in Ridgewood, New Jersey. And going back there was kind of fun because I knew all the trails for the most part still. I do understand why people from the West Coast almost never make trips to the East Coast to ski or snowboard. Because, man, it is so much better out here. Like, the mountains are bigger. The snow is better. It's less crowded out here, but it was still a pretty good time. And I will say, Lenny said that Hunter got too crowded. He prefers Bel Air. I don't know if they've like updated the lifts at Hunter Mountain, but they're much faster, I feel like, than they used to be. And even though there were a lot of people on the mountain, I feel like we never really waited more than 10 minutes to get on the lift, which back in the day, you would be waiting forever. Life is a Hike said Hunter Mountain has some really nice views when you hike it. I've actually never been there outside of the winter. I don't know what it's like at all. I don't think I've ever been to any of the places I've skied to do anything other than ski. Like, I know when you go down to Lake Tahoe, it's supposed to be gorgeous during the summer. Never been. Oh, hold on. It looks like our guest is with us in the video. So you know what? Give me about a minute. I'm going to put the BRB screen up. Where is that? And God damn it. There it is. All right, I'll be back in like hopefully 30 seconds. Oh, there's our guest.
Hi!
Look at that. Ricki Sanchez, formerly of, Elvis Duran in the Morning Show, Z100, formerly of the Zach Sang Show, and currently the freaking host of the morning show on the river in Nashville, someone I couldn't be any prouder of. Ricki, hi.
Hi. That was really sweet. That was a really nice intro.
Oh, well, that's all you're going to get from me. I got nothing else. So.
Hey, that's more than I normally get, so I'll take it.
Well, first off, you guys had a show today, right?
Oh, yeah. We had a show. I just got done with it and a meeting, and now I'm here hopping on with you. I'm excited to be here.
The meetings are the best part of working in radio. Without a doubt, they fill you with joy. They're always very productive.
Luckily, my PD also hates meetings, so they're
good.
typically pretty quick.
Oh man, that's like the one thing. And don't get me wrong, like we have meetings in what we do. We talk amongst ourselves, Carla Marie and I. We have meetings with our podcasting sales division that we work with. We have meetings with clients, but there is nothing less productive normally than radio meetings.
All of it could always be an email.
Yeah.
And I know that that's a classic thing that everybody always says, like in corporate America, they're like, this could have been an email. Everything in radio could just be an email, unless you're brainstorming like a promotion idea or something like that. But most of it is just, why are we doing this?
I feel like in radio, and it's probably different than any other industry, because when you have meetings, you have all these people who are big personalities and like they're paid, right, to be personalities. On a morning show, on an afternoon show, whatever. Even most like programmers at some point were radio personalities in their career. So you have all these people that think they're the funniest, most entertaining people in the room, all going at it at the same time.
And everybody has an opinion.
Yep.
Literally every single person has an opinion. And half the time you don't need any opinions. So the fact that everybody has one, you're like, well, now I don't know what I even think myself anymore because I just heard 7 different opinions.
But thank you. I know, like, obviously you wake up super early. You had some stuff going on today. So thank you for making time to hang out. I was sitting there thinking, who could I possibly invite that would not only understand this show, fill the very large seat. That sounds weird. Shoes also sounds weird. That Carla Marie leaves.
I know what you meant, but that sounded so bad.
And you were the first person I thought of. So.
Oh, I'm honored. I'm very, very honored to be here. Obviously, I do know what the show is all about from going cross country with you guys. I know it's changed a bit since then, but the same ideas are there. And I watch when I can. Yeah,
no, you're always in the chat. And one of my favorite things about that road trip that we did was when we did our fun employment road trip, Ricki was also fun employed.
Yeah.
Maybe less fun employed.
Less fun employed, I think. I was really going through it.
Yeah. So when you joined us for the second half of it, when we were going back from New Jersey to Seattle, we were in Nashville, and that was the only city that we stopped in for more than a day. We were there for 2 full days. And it was only a couple months later that you reached out and said, hey, guys, you're never going to believe this, but after going to Nashville for the first time, I think there's a job for me there.
Yeah, I had never been to Nashville before in my life. I had no idea what Nashville was all about. And the fact that it worked out that way is actually really kind of creepy. And I had a bunch of people here in Nashville being like, did you come because you knew that you were applying for this job? And like, were you here for an audition? And I'm like, I had no idea this job was even open when I came here. Like, that's just a weird coincidence.
Yeah. So for people who want to catch up with the show, let people know what they can search on Spotify or whatever podcast platforms they get so they can catch up.
Yeah, Ricki, Zach, and Mano in the morning, anywhere you listen to your podcast. And if you want to listen live, you can always listen on the iHeartRadio app as well.
And I try to not do this, and this is probably the first time Ricki's going to hear me say this, but I would say I listen to probably at least two of the podcasts every week of Ricki's morning show. And the reason Ricki doesn't know that is because I feel like when you're when you've been in the radio industry and you listen to someone else's show, they always think you're going to have some sort of like, I don't know, notes or something for them.
Critique. Yeah.
So I've just said, you know what? I'm just going to listen as a friend and a fan, and I'm not going to talk about the business side of anything that I hear. But I've enjoyed every single podcast that I've listened to. So definitely check out Ricki.
Why do I want to cry right now? I
Uh,
feel so emotional. I had no idea you listened.
Yeah, don't cry because then I have to kick you off. There's a strict no crying rule with our guests.
I'm just in such shock. I had no clue. You've never said anything about it. That's crazy.
No,
Thank you for
like I said,
listening.
I didn't say anything on purpose, essentially, because what I didn't want, because I would do it, and I know Ricki and I, we work very similarly. We're like very different, but also
We're
the same
insane.
person at the same time. It's really, really weird.
Mhm. Yeah.
I know especially because this version of your show is newer, right? You started in September officially as the morning show host, like the host.
Yeah, so, like, I've been the morning show host since May of last year,
Yeah.
but it hasn't actually been, like, Ricki, Zach, and Mano in the morning until October.
Okay, so it was October. And
Yeah.
I know that if it was that recent of this new version of a show, and let's say someone like my old boss Jared was listening to me, I would start peppering him with like a billion questions. Not that I was ever Ricki's boss, but someone who
Right.
understands me, someone who I appreciate their opinion. So that's why I didn't tell Ricki. I was like, I don't want her even asking me. I don't want that to happen. I just want her to do her show.
I appreciate that because you're right. I would be like, "So what about this? What did I do wrong here? How did I mess this part up?"
Yeah. And that's not why I was listening. I was just listening because I'm a proud friend and I like your show. But
Thanks.
enough of the kindness because it's getting gross.
It is really weird.
The one story that stuck out to me this morning when I was going through all the weird lifestyle stories that I get in my little news app was there's a guy, and I believe he's in the UK. Okay, he's an accountant, and he won $78 million.
Ooh.
$78 million. So that, by all accounts, especially if you're, in your 30s or 40s, that is enough to live the rest of your life.
Easily.
And if it isn't, you're messing up big time, or you have like a Nick Cannon sized family.
Yeah.
But
28 kids to support.
But what this man said was that he is actually not going to quit his job. And I want you, Ricki, to let me know what you think of this. Okay, so he's an accountant, and he's not quitting his job yet because he feels like he needs to finish this tax season and close out all of his clients and their tax year, and then maybe he'll quit. What would you do if you won $78 million today? Would you be going back to host your morning show?
The crazy thing about this is that I always said that I would go back to work because I know myself and I'm a lunatic. And the way that I work is like I'm constantly always doing something, if not 18 different things.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't know how to not do anything, which I think is also why, like, when we were just talking about before, the fun employment wasn't so fun for me because I'm like, how do I not do anything? But now, after the last year that I had, I would say that I would easily quit and I'd be like, see you later. I am now a travel blogger. I am just going to go everywhere that I've never been able to go before. I'm going to take my family with me because your time is so precious and we spend so much of it on working. Like, it's fulfilling if you're doing what you love.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like at the end of the day, it ain't worth it. I don't know why the heck he wants to go plug in numbers for the tax season. That sounds terrible.
Let's see. Erica P in the chat said, I am an accountant and I would 100% quit my job.
Logical.
Yeah. So I feel about work, I feel the same way that you do. Like, I am always usually trying to do something. So when you are unemployed and when you don't have like side projects or you're not building something like Carla Marie and I are, sometimes you do get depressed, right? But I think the difference, and compare this to your fun employment, Ricki, if you had $78 million, you'd be doing things, right?
Yeah.
Because when you're not employed, you start doing less because you don't know where that money's coming from. So you can't just take whatever trip you want. But if someone gives you almost $80 million, you have enough money and time at that point to do whatever you want.
Yeah, which is definitely why I would dip out. And as much as like, and I love my job. I am so lucky that I love my job, but like I would dip out so fast, like I said. And the thing is like none of you would know that I won that money. I would just fall off the face of the earth. You never hear from me again.
Yeah. Especially like when we have like the mega millions here that are over $1 billion. If it was $1 billion, I would I would get a new phone. I'd get a new phone number. Maybe 7 people would have that number. And then that would be it. You'd be like, he had a nice run. I don't know where he is these days, but I'm sure he's enjoying himself.
If anything, a few people would get like a check in the mail, but that would be the last that you would ever hear from me, is like that check, like a random one that you'd be like, is this even real? I don't know why this would happen. And then never hear from me.
You think it's a scam?
Yeah, 100%.
The other thing, and this is the only thing that makes me think I wouldn't quit life completely if I won 70 whatever million dollars. Let's say I had my old radio job, right? Or we'll put myself in your shoes. I think when you have that much money, you're going to act different, right? And I would be interested to see how long I would remain employed with my new attitude, with my new lease on life. Because when they would ask me to go to a meeting, I would just say, that ain't going to happen. I have $78 million. I'm not going to your meeting.
And you especially, Anthony, you are sassy.
Oh, yeah.
And you hold back so much that if you had the money, you'd be like, I'm never holding back again. And everybody would be like, I don't know. I can't deal with this.
Yeah, people think I'm polite, but I'm just poor. That's different.
There's such a difference. You're right. No, I would dip out. And like I said, I would travel the world, or like I said, I'd probably eventually become like a travel blogger, because I'd have to like do something, like feel like I'm contributing to society in some way. Or maybe actually I wouldn't even do that. I would just donate a bunch of money.
That's what society's been missing all these years, is Ricki telling us about her trips.
Hey, I'm going to tell you the best deals that you can get. This is how you can buy an island in the middle of nowhere. Just win $78 million.
Everyone talks about how our country is falling apart. Is it Biden's fault? Is it Trump's fault? No, it's the fact that Ricki has not given us YouTube videos about her hotel experience.
I provide entertainment, Anthony. I bring laughter to the masses, okay? And without that, so many people are going to be depressed.
I mean, you're not wrong. You are entertaining. But that's what society's been missing. It's a huge disservice you've been.
I love that Made by Erica said, I'm here for Ricki's joy.
Yes. Oh, speaking of Ricki's joy, let's talk about Ricki's wedding. Because I'm sure Ricki hasn't talked about that enough on a day-to-day basis. So how much of your life has been taken over by the wedding? Because when did AJ propose?
He proposed in November. So we took a lot of time to not do anything at all with the wedding, because we were like, okay, too much happening with the holidays, and him and I go back to Jersey for like 2 weeks at a time, and there was just too much. We were like, no, we're not doing it. And we've stuck on to that idea and have not planned a damn thing.
Okay, so no date, nothing.
We have no dates. The only thing that we know is that it will be happening in Nashville. It's not going to happen in New Jersey, which we always just assumed we would do New Jersey. We were like, all of our friends and families are there. Like, we're 100% going to do New Jersey. And then we really thought about it. And we were like, how annoying is it that we're going out of our way to do everything in New Jersey for everybody else, for something that it's not for them. It's for us. Yeah. Like, we're going to stress ourselves out more by making it happen in New Jersey. The amount of flights we'd have to take to like taste food and check out venues and pick out flowers and all of those things, it just seemed like too much. So the only thing we know is it's happening in Nashville. And the other thing that we know is that AJ has realized just how expensive weddings are.
Yeah. Well, are they obviously, you know how expensive they are in like New York and New Jersey. What is the difference between that area and Nashville? Because I think Nashville might be an outlier in like the middle of the country, because there are so many like bachelor and bachelorette people that live there. There's so many like weird TV and social media weddings that they might also be just as expensive.
Yeah, it's still pretty expensive. It's nothing like New Jersey, because New Jersey is just horrendous right now. But it's pretty expensive still. It's not as cheap as like you would expect, where you go, oh, Tennessee, it's going to be super cheap. It's not. It's still pretty pricey, but it'll be less than doing it in New Jersey. And like I said, less stressful, but it's still so expensive. I genuinely, and this is going to shock people, I think, because I know that so many people who are engaged or married are like, oh, I knew when he was going to propose because he started acting weird. I had no freaking clue that AJ was going to propose to me when he did. I was completely in shock. I had an idea the day of, because he was being really weird.
So that
like
day,
something was up. Yes.
But leading up
to
I had
a weird feeling. No freaking clue. I was legitimately like convinced that we would never get engaged and never get married. We were just going to be together forever as like partners, like common law marriage type deal.
Mhm. No, so
So I was shocked.
you guys didn't talk about like wedding stuff beforehand. There was nothing that you guys talked about in terms of like actually getting married.
We would joke about like things that we would want at the wedding, which now are for real things that we want. Like the one thing that I will not compromise on is the fact that there will be a pickle bar, like a massive pickle bar, and
Okay.
you can pick whatever pickles you want, and then you can have pickleback shots based off of the pickle juice that you like from the pickles that you tried. That is the one thing that I will not compromise on.
I feel like that is very Tennessee of you because that is not a New Jersey thing.
But it is a New Jersey thing in
Really?
my town. We used to take pickleback shots
Oh,
all the time.
okay. Because I feel
So
like
it's got to happen.
a pickle bar is something you would hear in like, I don't know, Appalachia or something. I don't know.
You're not wrong, but we love pickles.
Pickles
They're
are
so
great.
good. They're so good. That's the only thing we have planned.
So what about like bachelorette and bachelor parties? Because I just found out this past weekend. I had 3 for the year, and now I've been invited to my 4th bachelor
Oh
party
my God.
of the year. 5 weddings, 4 bachelor parties, and that's so far. I think there's going to be more. But
That's exhausting.
it is, and the only thing that's going to be, and I'm excited to go to all of them. I think the thing that's going to get me is I had one bachelor party this past weekend, and that was very low key. I almost wish it was like in the middle of the other bachelor parties because it was, I saved money, I saved energy. But it was so much fun.
Nice.
It was just a weekend in the Catskills with my buddy and some friends. But then I have my brother's bachelor party, where I'm the best man. That is going to be the end of July in San Diego. I think 3 weeks later, I have my cousin's wedding, or my cousin's bachelor party, which will be in Vegas, and I'm in the wedding party for that one as well. And then a month after that, I'm back in Vegas for one of my best friend's bachelor parties, and they're going to get exponentially more expensive and ridiculous as I go, because it goes San Diego, Vegas, Vegas. But the 2 people I'm going to Vegas for, they like to party, like a lot.
Yeah, you're screwed.
Yeah. So
And drinks are expensive there.
Everything's expensive there.
Yeah.
Everything. Life is expensive. Life is expensive everywhere, but it's expensive in Vegas.
Yeah,
So
but you get like a tiny drink and it's like $35. So that's just depressing to me. We have not thought about that, except actually AJ's thought about it. AJ already knows that he wants to do very much like what your one friend did, very low key, very chill. He wants to go camping. Nothing super crazy because that's what he likes. He likes being out in nature. He likes camping. That's his vibe. So I know that that's what he wants to do. I don't know where he wants to go camping. I just know camping in general. I have given zero thought to it whatsoever.
Wow. Well, as your maid of honor, I think we should hash it out right now. What do you want to do?
So this is the thing that I have with bachelorette parties that I don't know what to do. So I would love to do something like a beach, like something that's relaxing but still fun, like a beachy town. But a lot of beachy towns are expensive, and I don't want to leave the US because I think it's really rude when people ask you to leave the US. I had a friend, love her dearly. She did hers in the Bahamas, and she was like, "I'm really trying to keep it down to $2,000 a person." And I was like, what do you mean? And that's like not including all the extra things that you want to do. Like, I'm not gonna make it. Sorry. So I don't want to do that to anybody. So I don't know where to go. Like, what's a good beachy town that's like semi-affordable?
I feel like you could do something in the Carolinas, right? Like not Myrtle Beach.
Okay.
I think somewhere, not Myrtle Beach, because that I think can get expensive. But I feel like the Carolinas have nice beaches, and you can also kind of stay like low key. Key West would also, I think, Angela in Spokane said Key West is a good idea, or any of the Florida Keys. Obviously,
I've never been to Key West.
I've been to Key Largo, and that was for Elizabeth's wedding, and it was beautiful.
I saw the pictures. Yes.
Yeah.
I actually just saw her last week. Side note, and she was showing us even more pictures of the wedding.
That's right. She was in Nashville. Fred the mailman says Cleveland is affordable, beachy. You do have the lake,
right?
It is a beach.
Yeah, but I grew up on a lake. I need something different than a lake. I need like the actual ocean and like the beach. I want to like
not the
feel
beach
the sand in my toes.
A lot of people are saying the Outer Banks.
Oh, I love the Outer Banks.
I've never been.
Oh, it's such a cute area. It is very low key, but also plenty of places to like go party. That's not a bad idea.
There you go. And is that in the Carolinas, right?
Yeah.
Bam, look at that.
Look at that.
What did I
Yeah.
say?
Oh, there's an all-inclusive hotel down in the Keys. I had no idea.
All-inclusives are great because even though it looks expensive up front, it does feel much better when you're there not worrying about any of that nonsense. Because that's one of the things that is going to kill me in the 3 bachelor parties I have to go to in July, August, and September, is it's going to cost a lot of money to get there. And then especially because I'm the best man for one of them, like, I'm going to be racking up some bills.
Yeah. And, I like to drink. So I feel like I will for sure drink more than whatever it is that I actually paid for the all-inclusive.
Well, but if it's your bachelorette party, you're not paying for drinks.
Yeah, I know
That's
that's like technically the rule, but I feel bad about things. I'm not good at that. Like that doesn't work well for me.
And I don't know how it is at bachelorette parties, but I know for bachelor parties, you don't even really have a chance, right? Because your friends are around you, and every time they see your drink getting low, they're going to order you another one anyway. It's not like you're really going to the bar on your own. And then when you have dinners, there's not a chance you're getting the bill, right? Because people will fight you to the death for it. You're more likely to get killed by your friend than pay your own dinner tab at your bachelorette party.
Yeah, I guess I just need to like live in uncomfortable state for the entire time. I hate that. Like that bothers me.
Yeah, I don't. It's weird because no one wants to pay for anything, but also no one wants to feel like everyone has to pay for them. But I think in this specific scenario, you have to let it happen. That's the reason everyone's there, right? Everyone's there to celebrate you and make sure that you're having a good time.
Yeah, but I also feel like that's kind of like weddings where it's like everyone's there to quote unquote celebrate you and your love, but really everyone's there for the open bar.
Yeah, but here's the difference. At a bachelorette or a bachelor party, everyone's there to celebrate you and make sure you have a good time. At a wedding, everyone's there to celebrate you, but knows you're not actually having a good time because there's so much going on.
Yes.
That's the biggest difference.
Yeah, that's the other thing that I absolutely do not want to happen. And we've talked about this, AJ and I. Like, we don't want it to be one of those crazy, hectic, insane weddings where, like, there are so many people that we're trying to say hello to everybody and we don't get to, like, enjoy ourselves or drink and eat and sit down and actually have fun at the thing that we just spent X amount of money on for everybody else to have a good time. Like, we got to figure out a way to make sure that does not happen. So I'm not doing it.
I just had this conversation actually when I was in New Jersey. I went out to dinner with my parents, my aunt, and my 2 cousins. And I guess for my brother's wedding, which is coming up in October, one of the ideas that his fiance had, and it's a very kind idea. She was asking my mom if they should have like a little hookah lounge to like bring in some of our culture to the wedding, which my mom shot down. And I agreed with her because I think what's happening at weddings is there are too many outside activities, right? There are like you have photo booths and all these other things that are popping up at weddings now, and it takes people off of the dance floor. And especially if you have like a cigar lounge or a hookah lounge, people are there for a long time. So now you have people that are off of the dance floor for 45 minutes to an hour, which ends up being what, a fourth of the wedding?
True, solid point. Yeah.
And I think what we need at weddings is less activities that don't take place on the dance floor. That's where everything should be, right?
You just want to dance all night.
Everyone should be there on the dance floor, and that's really it.
But doesn't everybody in your family also really love to dance? Like, you guys are all going to be on the dance floor.
Yeah.
You guys are going to be on the dance floor the entire time.
Yeah, but you want everyone there. That's kind of the point. I actually, at the place we went to dinner, it was Sunday night, this past Sunday. It was a place called Cedars in New Jersey. It's a Lebanese restaurant.
Yes.
We were sitting, they have like an outside enclosed patio type thing. I went to the bathroom inside, and there was actually an engagement party from someone in our community that was going down there. And I forgot how fun like Middle Eastern weddings are. And if I wasn't in jeans and a t-shirt, I probably would have just started partying with everybody. Because I'm telling you, it's not a huge space, but there's probably like 120 people in there. And it was for an engagement party, keep in mind, not a wedding.
A lot.
And they're like 90% of those people were dancing, whether it was on the dance floor, at their tables, whatever. They was just straight up dancing the whole time.
I've seen so many videos on TikTok because obviously a lot of my TikToks now involve weddings at this point
Mhm.
because I feel like my phone just hears me talking about it all the time. But I've seen a lot of like Middle Eastern weddings and they look like they're so much freaking fun. Like
Yeah,
everybody is happy.
they're a good
Like
time.
not a single sad person around or like person that's like in the corner. It's like everybody is happy, everybody's having a good time. And that's what everybody should want out of their wedding, I
Yeah,
feel like. I mean, that's what I want. I want everybody to have a good time. Me included though. I have to have a good time too. If
but
I'm paying for this damn thing, I better have fun.
that's the thing. I think if there are less things that there are like the less you have to worry about, the more fun you're going to have, right?
Right.
So the more weird, quirky elements that you add, the more you're going to have to worry about the day of the wedding. The more there is to
True.
go wrong. But if you keep it simple and just say, hey, I want my pickle bar, I want people to have some good drinks, and I want a good DJ, you're going to have a great time.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. And right now, AJ wants a band. I'm kind of leaning
Ooh.
towards DJ. We've discussed that very little, but like that was the thing that came up. So we're kind of in between what we're gonna do. But the one idea that I actually came up with recently was like because everybody's coming down to Nashville for this,
Mhm.
I want to make a weekend out of it. Like I want to do something especially with, like, our close friends and family, because hopefully we dwindle it down. Right now, we're at, like, 230 people, and I'm like, "Let me tell you what we can't afford is 230 people at a wedding."
Yeah, it's
So,
tough.
dwindle it down, but I would like to do something, like, Friday night with all of our friends and families, like, out in Nashville and have those, like, Nashville ties into
Yeah.
it so that we don't have to do all of that at the wedding, and the wedding can just be the wedding.
Okay, I'm gonna propose an idea, and I'll talk to AJ if I have to. Okay.
Oh god.
First off, I am personally, and it's not my wedding, but I am personally against live bands at weddings. And I'm going to tell you why. They're very talented, and I understand. Like, I'm not trying to like poo-poo any musicians here. I just feel like you can't change the songs fast enough to like match the rhythm of the wedding. And if the dance floor doesn't approve of a song, you're in that song for the next 5 minutes. And it just
That's a
keeps
good
going.
point.
I feel like DJs keep the energy up a little bit, but here's what you could do, especially in Nashville. I feel like if you found a cool, like acoustic guitar, country style artist, they could do the cocktail hour and play like covers and stuff.
Okay.
And then you have a DJ for the wedding.
I'm not opposed to that idea.
I
That's
don't know how
not a
much that
bad
costs.
idea.
But,
You're
well,
like, you
good
might be
luck.
looking at like 20K,
Yeah,
but it would work.
good luck. Also, I want to read out this comment from DJ Synth, whose wedding I went to, and it's actually a fantastic wedding. DJ Synth said, I liked having different areas at my wedding outside of the dance floor, gave me areas and time to catch up with out-of-towners. The dance floor is not great for that, which is 100% true. Like, the
Okay.
dance floor isn't the place where you're going to catch up with your old friends who are celebrating your day with you.
Right. But that's
Right.
also why if we make a weekend out of it,
There you go.
I spend time with everybody. Because I also, one thing that everybody said, like I said before, is because it gets so crazy and hectic, they don't get to say hi to everybody, or they're spending the entire night saying hello to
Yeah.
everybody. So if I can bring out the majority of people the day before and spend time with them the day before, I don't feel as obligated to like stop at every single table and say thank you so much for being here and taking a picture with every single
Yeah.
person. It's like, okay, I can actually enjoy this night now and just say hello to the people that couldn't get here the day before.
This is a great message from Fred the Mailman, and it kind of speaks to why I go for a DJ over a live band. Fred said, until a band can successfully pull off Poison by Belle Biv DeVoe, I am always leaning DJ. And here's the best part about that statement. Belle Biv DeVoe, Poison by Belle Biv DeVoe, is a song you only need 45 seconds of, right?
Right.
So that's why you need a DJ, because a band is going to play that whole damn song if they play it. A DJ will play the part you want to dance to. Everyone does the boom, 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 bah, right? And then you're done with it because that song is entirely too long.
It is. Yeah, you're right. Like there are a lot of songs like that too, where you only need little snippets
Yeah.
of it. And for me, my argument on the DJ is like, I also want to play some reggaeton. I want some other stuff like thrown in there. And I don't know a band that can do so many, like they can only do so many genres
Yeah.
and do it well. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like typically there's one specific thing that they're good at and they stick to it.
And
So it's going to be kind of hard.
they all do 2 Pitbull songs. Every single live band is going to give you at least 2 Pitbull songs at every single wedding. And for me, like, but to go to add on to your point, of wanting different genres, like I'm going to need, whenever I get married, some Arabic music, right? So
Absolutely.
I'm going to have to pay a DJ at some point anyway. I may as well just pay the DJ for the whole night.
Yeah.
I got to ask my
Yeah.
brother what he's doing. I feel like they're going to want to go with a live band.
You're getting nervous now, aren't you?
I am.
I can see it in your face. You're like,
But
oh no, what
also-
did I sign up for?
What we do in Middle Eastern culture, there's essentially a party a day or two before the wedding, and it's like to get the groom ready for the wedding. I guess way back in the day, they used to like shave the groom's actual face at the wedding. They don't do that anymore. But that's where a lot of like the Middle Eastern, Lebanese, Palestinian, Jordanian culture is going to be represented, because that's like literally a cultural event for us during our weddings. And I don't know how much of that culture is going to be involved in my brother's wedding, because like he's got his Middle Eastern side, she's got her Cuban side. I'm sure there'll be some Arabic music, I'm sure there'll be some Cuban music. I don't know what they're like, how they're going to blend everything.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting to see. I think that's kind of cool though, if they can find a way to blend everything the right way and have all of it come together.
Yeah.
Will be cool to see. And it's obviously going to be a very different wedding at that point too, because I mean, I've been to so many of the same weddings, and like, come on, they get boring after a while.
Yeah, this will spice it up a little bit. What are you?
It'll
What
be
are
something new.
Are there like traditional things that you have in your family that you want to make sure happen in your wedding?
Well, Anthony, the only thing traditional in my family is divorce, so I'm going to say no.
Okay, well, this is the first step, right?
Yeah, we don't really have any like traditions or anything that's like something that I want to do at my wedding. Although I will say that AJ's family has this one tradition that I don't even think they want to be a tradition, but it is at this point.
What is it?
His dad sings Frank Sinatra
Yes.
at the wedding, like at every wedding.
Even if it's not his kid.
Every wedding, like all the cousins want it to happen. We were just at his cousin's wedding last year in June, and she asked him to do it, and he was like, "No, I can't." He's one of those. He's like, "No." And as he's taking the microphone and then belts out like the song, like that's him. So that'll have to happen at the wedding. That's the one thing that is traditional in his side, at least.
Is it one Sinatra song, or is it like he has the whole catalog?
Just one.
Okay.
He'll sing one, and I don't know which one it's going to be.
Okay.
Because from what I know, it could be a different one each time, because I hear different stories for everybody. So it's just going to be that he's got to sing.
That's awesome. I love that, actually.
I think it's great too. I love it because I think it's hilarious to watch this man just like, again, be like, oh, no, I can't. And then just start belting out. He's a character.
Oh, I
You
could
gotta love
never
it.
give me that microphone.
It's like he's been
awesome.
practicing his whole life for this moment. Once he gets the microphone too, it's phenomenal.
I wonder, because I would do this if I was him. I wonder if leading up to weddings where he knows he has the opportunity, if he like practices.
He 100% does. He is the kind of person who, again, he'll look at himself in the mirror and probably practice to himself, but pretend like, no, I've never practiced a day of my life. I have no idea what you're talking about. He for sure practices.
What are AJ's like needs at this wedding? Does he have a specific thing he wants to do? Is he leaving it all up to you? Because I have male friends who have literally told me they had zero input in their wedding, and not from like I don't care about this wedding. They were just like, I'm not getting in my wife's way because she is going to murder me before this happens. I've also had friends who have made sure the wedding was like they were a groomzilla, essentially. Where does AJ fall?
I have decided that the best way to handle this entire situation with AJ, because he does want to be heavily involved,
Okay.
but he's not very good at making decisions. Like, he doesn't like making decisions.
Is
because
it
he
because
second-guesses himself.
is it because he's scared that he's going to make the wrong decision and you're going to get mad, or does he not like making decisions overall in life?
Overall, like
Okay.
he's always afraid that he's going to make the wrong decision. Like, he overthinks everything.
Okay.
So I have decided that the way that I'm going to approach this is I am going to give him 2 to 3 options on everything that I already love.
Okay.
And then he can choose from those options. So I'm happy no matter what, and he feels involved.
That's fair. I mean, it's still probably too many options for him based on what you've told me.
It might be, depending on what area of the wedding it is.
Yeah.
I might have to dwindle it down to 2. That's why it's going to be 2 to 3. We'll see.
But he hasn't asked for anything specifically. He hasn't said, "Hey, I just want to make sure we do this one thing at our wedding."
No,
Whenever
not that I
happens.
can Not that I can remember. I think the only thing that he wants to keep in mind is a budget at this
Well,
point.
yeah. Yeah, man, that
Because I
those
keep
things are insane.
throwing things out there, and he's like, how much is that?"
Yeah, I mean, listen, great timing for you because you finally became the host of a morning show, but you just don't get to see any of your money for another 2 years, basically, because of this wedding.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely at an interesting time. We're gonna wait though, because like the earliest that we're having it is 2025, and we've already come to terms with that, and that would be late
What year? Oh, we're
2025.
2024 right now. For some reason,
Yeah, so
for some reason, I was like, that's 3 years from now.
could you imagine? That actually sounds so nice to have 3 years to save. But that's also why like this being a shock it was great, and I would never take it back, but kind of sucks in the sense that like it's not like we've been saving for a wedding.
Yeah, that's fair.
We have no savings.
You'll figure it out. I mean, just start saving now, I guess.
We're going to start saving now. I'm going to pimp myself out to as many places in Nashville that will give me free shit.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if
Well,
I'm allowed to say that. Sorry.
Has no, you're fine. Has the sales team from your radio station come at you yet?
No, because
Really?
yeah, I don't even know if half of them know that I'm engaged.
Okay, well that's the first problem. You need to make sure they
Yeah.
all know because I
Yeah.
guarantee you there's like a jeweler somewhere. There's probably, I mean, I don't know about catering like the hall or the place you're gonna get married, the venue, I should say,
Right.
but there's got to be like some companies that are gonna want to be part of that and hook you up with some free stuff.
I think a lot of that's going to be me reaching out to them about it
Would you
because
do a
I don't
free
trust.
dress?
Oh, yeah. I
Okay.
would literally do a free everything. The one and only thing, because I've talked about this on the radio before, that needed to be paid for was this ring right here by AJ. He had to pay for this. I was not getting it for free. Outside of that, everything can be for free. I don't care about anything else.
Oh, the part that you don't have to contribute to at all, that one had to be
Yes.
paid for in full.
Mhm. He
That's
had to
nice.
pay for this.
That's fair. And
The wedding bands, though, he won't have to pay for if we can get them for free.
Well, I know a guy, Ricki, my
You
dad.
do know a guy.
So if
Yes.
you need some rings next time you're in Jersey, I'll hook you up with George.
Perfect.
He'll take good care of you. Let everyone see the ring.
Oh, yes. I'm like, let's see if we can make it like look pretty and shiny. I also don't know where to put it
Right there is
for
good.
like
Right
where.
there.
There we go.
So what is it?
Yeah.
Because
It
that's
is a
not
teal
diamond, right?
sapphire.
Okay.
Teal sapphire in the middle and then diamonds around it. So
Pretty cool.
the teal sapphire actually like changes color depending on the lighting, which is really, really cool. Like sometimes it's super teal, sometimes it's like super green. It just depends on the lighting.
Yeah.
And it reminds me of the ocean, which is one of my favorite places and one of AJ's favorite places, and that's exactly why he picked it.
Tell me you were a 90s kid because you got a mood ring as an engagement ring.
I said that to him. I was like, it's literally like a mood ring. It really is. Like,
then you
depending
go-
on the light, it looks different.
You go,
Yeah. Is it a different color now?
Those
I love
things-
it.
They need to make more products with whatever material that was. Although part of me thinks it was like disease-causing material that they like quietly had to phase out at some point.
Oh, yeah.
'Cause
Oh, yeah.
I don't
100%.
know what that was, but it was fun.
Like most things during our upbringing, a lot of it is questionable and
Yeah.
a lot of it is scary when you think about it because a lot of it can no longer be consumed by children, can be worn by children, can be played on or played with. Like it's kind of scary when you think about it.
Yeah, we probably were all poisoned at some point.
It might be
Those
why we're all
kids are
kind of a little messed up.
poison. Sorry.
Oh God. Oh
That's
God.
how you bring it all around. That's how you bring the wedding talk all around.
So sorry that anybody had to experience that.
Melissa said she got her veil on Amazon. I guess
So many
Amazon
people.
does sell everything, right?
So many people have said to me that they've even gotten their wedding dresses from Amazon.
Makes sense.
Just a lot cheaper.
And you can listen, if you can buy a house on Amazon, you can buy a wedding dress on Amazon.
Yeah, you can buy anything on Amazon. As much as like I don't really love Amazon and their practices, you can get everything there.
Yeah. It's tough because they make everything so easy.
Oh, rent your dress. You don't need to keep it. Tell me more about renting a wedding dress. Is that a possibility?
That makes so much more sense because you're never going to wear that again.
Never. And I mean, you keep it, but like, why?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, guys rent their
Like, there's no
tuxes.
reason.
Usually guys rent their tuxes. Every now and then I've got a couple friends who have like gotten themselves custom suits, but the suits that they would wear again, like practical ones.
Right. Like a black, nice, fitted to
Yeah,
them custom suit that they will keep forever for essentially.
exactly.
I'm never gonna wear a wedding dress again to an event. That would be horrifying.
And I know that there are definitely some women out there that have like worn their mother's wedding dress or had a piece. Like I'm pretty sure my brother's fiance, there's either a piece of her mom's wedding dress or veil or something from her grandmother that she's like using with her wedding dress or wedding ensemble, whatever she's.
Sometimes they stitch it inside, like a
Yeah.
piece of it too, like a piece of fabric will get stitched inside, which I think is really sweet.
Uh, Amy said, I gave my dress away to someone who needed one and it felt way better than keeping it in a closet. That's great.
Oh, I love that. I do feel like too, if anything, like I would keep the veil if I like have kids and I have a daughter one day who wants like a piece of like a something old
Yeah.
piece kind of thing, and like she could have my veil or pieces of my veil. Like the dress itself seems so silly to keep when it just sits there.
Plus, I'm going to assume, I mean, listen, AJ is not the tallest guy in the world either, but I'm just going to assume your daughter, if she's going to use your wedding dress, is going to be a little taller than you. Just like it's a low bar it's a low bar that you've set, quite literally, pun intended.
Quite literally, I hope she is taller than 4'11", but who knows because AJ is not very tall.
So, I mean, I just got to assume she's going to be over 5 feet tall, you know.
Fingers crossed.
She's not going to be wearing mood rings and slap bracelets and glow sticks. So I think whatever poisons we've given ourselves growing up, she won't have, hopefully.
I hope. Fingers crossed that she is at least a little bit taller. I hope so. But yeah, so maybe I won't even, I don't know. I don't even know where to go for a dress. I don't even know what kind of dress I want. I'm the worst, like, girl, like quintessential girl, because I never dreamed of weddings. I don't have any idea of like what I really want. Like I have so many friends who they got engaged and the next day they were like, this is the wedding date. I already called the venue. We put down a deposit.
It is impressive. Carla Marie's sister was like that. Carla Marie's
Crazy to
sister,
me.
and she, obviously things changed because she had like a pandemic wedding. So all the dates that she had within the first week of being engaged had to change. But it was like she knew where she was getting the dress, where she was getting married, what the date was, all the stuff. And I guess, listen, if it's something that you've been aiming for your whole life, right? Because there are some people who dream of their wedding day.
Right.
Women and men, both of them. Like I've told people, I have, for a guy, I've probably thought about my wedding way more than the average man. I will be a groomsman.
Really?
Oh yeah. I like parties. I've thrown parties my entire life. Growing up, elementary school, high school, or middle school to high school, I was in my church like youth group, and I planned all of our parties. College, I threw a whole lot of parties. After college, I worked at KTU on the promotions team where I was putting together events and parties. It's something that I love to do. So I've always thought
So
about
you've
it.
thought about okay, so what's the number one thing that you have to have at your wedding?
The only things, and granted, I'm going to be spending money on everything when this happens, but the things I'll spend the most money on are the DJ and the food and the drinks. I don't need a lot of other things because, like I was saying earlier, I want the least amount of distractions, and I want people on the dance floor. And there's going to be a lot of people.
Easy enough.
Like a lot of people. That's going to be my problem.
Yeah, I hope you have started saving, unlike I did.
And it's not even like listen, I have a great group of friends, right? But I also have a family of, I have 34 first cousins.
There's so many of you.
Right? So you think aunts, uncles, cousins, significant others. Just my family, and I'm talking without getting into second cousins and like the weird, like Arab kind of cousin cloud that you live
Where
with.
you're cousins, but not really cousins. Yeah, we got the same thing, Hispanics, where it's like, that's not really my cousin, but that's my cousin.
So just in terms of actual blood relatives from siblings, aunts, uncles, and cousins, you're talking about 130 people.
Jesus Christ.
It's crazy.
So, oh my God.
There's a lot of us. So
I thought AJ's family was bad.
And granted, it was my parents had a double wedding, so my mom and her sister got married on the same day at the same time.
What?
Yeah. And part of
They
it was
shared their day?
they did, and part of it was because they got engaged around the same time, and my uncle Nick was serving in the Navy. So they weren't sure. They didn't want to make him choose one of the weddings, so they planned their weddings together around when he'd be on leave. Except the best part of all of that is he couldn't even get leave, so he never even showed up.
Stop it.
So they did all of that. And my family didn't come from a lot of money, so they saved some money that way. But they had close to 600 people.
Who?
Yeah.
600 people?
Something like that. It was something insane. Somewhere between 400 and 600 people that showed up to their wedding. People were just showing up. Because at that point, it's like there's so many people in the church community, which was very close, knew about it. And I guess my grandmother was just telling everyone to come on by.
I just got a wave of anxiety thinking about that many people together, let alone there where I'm like the center of attention and everyone needs to pay attention.
Yep.
That makes me want to curl in a ball.
But you don't have to be the center of attention when you share your wedding day with someone, because now there's 4 people getting married on the same day.
Okay, very solid point. Okay.
Someone said, I think it was Angela said, when I said how many people I'd be inviting, she said that doesn't even count all of Carla Marie's big family either. And Carla Marie does have a big family. The difference is Carla Marie doesn't have a lot of cousins. I think she only has a total of 4. Like, she has a big immediate family between her sister, and her half siblings that she has.
All the nieces and great nieces.
But outside of like the core, it's not that big of a family unit as opposed to mine, where I have less siblings, but just way like her dad is an only child. Her mom, I think, had a brother, and that brother's no longer with us. So other than them, like, I've got a dozen aunts and uncles I got to invite, you know?
Yeah.
And then all of their wives and husbands and all of that. So there's a lot of people.
What I've learned is the worst part is, like, since AJ and I are older now, almost everyone that we know, like whether they're family or friends, has to have a +1 because they're married or engaged. It's not like you can be like, oh, well, you haven't been dating anybody for a while. It's like, well, every one person is now 2.
Yeah. Yeah, those numbers go up
That's
pretty
annoying.
quick. But listen, you have hung out with me for an hour now. I've appreciated every
Oh my gosh, time flies.
I know, right? I've appreciated every single minute. Thank you very much, Ricki. Before we get out of here, though, before we close up for the day, tell people, where they can find you on social, where they can listen to you, whether it's live on the radio or podcast form. Go for it.
Yes. So you can find me at That Chick Ricki, Ricki, on all social media platforms. And if you just search Ricki, Zach, and Mano in the morning, anywhere you like to podcast, you'll find our podcast.
And I will share a link on my Instagram story later on, so you could find that easier as well. I would say
so much fun.
I would say I'd put links in the description of like the YouTube video or something, but that's normally what Carla Marie does, so I'm not doing any of that.
Don't be lazy, Anthony.
I'll figure it out later. I don't know. Love you, Ricki. Thank you.
Love
Congratulations
you.
on everything that you've accomplished so far, and you are my favorite person to watch kind of grow and take over the world.
That's so sweet. It's getting really weird how nice you're being to me, but I love you, and I love everybody else that's watching. I see a bunch of people just scrolling through the bottom, and I know all of their names, so love all of you guys.
All right, we are going to let Ricki go. Let's see if I press this button. I think there we go. Now it's just me. Bye, Ricki. I know you can still see me on the other camera. Bye. All right, but that is it for today. That was so much fun. Honestly, Ricki is one of my favorite people in the whole world, so I loved having her on. I think Monday, Carla Marie should be back. If everything goes according to plan, she will be back. But if not, we'll make it work. Thank you for hanging. Don't forget, there is a brand new episode of the Morning Show Podcast, the 2-year anniversary of the Morning Show Podcast, actually. So go give that a listen. Feel free to share it if you want. Until Monday, peace out.